Shalom, Israel. My name is Officer Kayad, one out of ISUPK, Jamaica. All right, so we come to now with a story that is not, it's not a new story, but the article that I'm going to read is a new article, right? And hopefully, I don't want to make this video too long, but hopefully I can read the whole article. If not, we just have a direct connection to the article. It's a Gleaner article and an event that took place in 1999 where, the government at the time allegedly, you understand? Allegedly, but it looks like, it was the plot by the government. You understand? Yeah, man, it really looks like it. All right, so the government at the time was trying to clean the street of Montego Bay from homeless people. You understand? Because Montego Bay is a tourist resort, right? Trying to clean the street of Montego Bay of homeless people. And so they send the police with, the municipal authorities to load the people them in truck, pepper spray them, tie them up, and dump them in a mud lake in St. Elizabeth. You understand? Which a mud lake is nigh unto like quicksand, or a tar pit. You understand? So without further ado, we're gonna jump into the article for make you see what go on. You understand? So this article says, MoBay street people scandal, a tale of shame. Many of you might remember this, this scandal, back in 1999, you understand? So it says, a current photo of the St. James Municipal Corporation building located in Montego Bay, the birthplace of the idea which ultimately became the infamous 1999 street people scandal. City officials were linked to the kidnap of 39 persons, some mentally ill, from the street of MoBay or Montego Bay in St. James and dumped near a mud lake in St. Elizabeth. You understand? So we jump in at the article now. It was one of those serene Montego Bay nights. A rookie Gleaner reporter was walking through Sam Sharpe Square when she saw men believed to be members of the St. James Parish Council work crew and police officers rounding up street people, pepper spraying them, binding their hands with ropes, and placing them in the back of a truck, right? So them are round up these homeless people and I treat them like criminals, pepper spraying them, tying them up, treating them like, that they committed a crime. You understand? But notice she said, member of the parish council work crew along with the police, right? It was not until the following morning when news broke that 32 street people had been kidnapped from several locations in downtown Montego Bay the previous night. So before that, this was, 32 before she encountered seeing this with her very two eyes. So this has been happening, And who knows what happened to others, if this was the second one or the first, and who knows what happened to the rest, and who knows if this is continuing to happen. You understand? So it says July 15, 1999, and subsequently dumped near Slakia. Let me just go back and read it. It was not until the following morning when news broke that 32 street people had been kidnapped from several locations in downtown MoBay the previous night, July 15, 1999, and subsequently dumped near a mud lake near Santa Cruz, St. Elizabeth, that the young reporter realized that what she had seen was the genesis of a monumental act of shame and injustice. You understand? So it's when the news come out now, she realized what she had witnessed, right? Based on the account given at the time by survivor Vernon Gibson and a veteran of the U.S. Army who saw combat in Vietnam, things could have turned out worse had his fellow captive not heeded his advice and not those of their captors. In other words, he must say, this veteran of the U.S. Army, which now was homeless on the street in Jamaica, who was part of the people them who were round up, if he never signaled them to listen to him and not the captors, things would have been worse. And here's why he said it. who were arguing them, Salakia, who were urging them to run down a slope in the dark. So the plan was to get them, to dump them near the mud lake and have them run down one slope. And you so understand why this is crucial, right? When we reached the place, St. Elizabeth, it was almost daylight, but it was still dark. Them back up the truck about 20 feet from a spot, cut the rope, and let we out, and say, the first man who run down the hill will get the best room. So this was the plan, to let the people out in the dark, you understand, near the mud lake, near the slope, and tell them, say, yo, the first man who run down the slope get the best room. So this is evil. This is, you know what I mean? This is barbaric. Knowing that the people them homeless and need a room at the time. You understand? Their thing is, them are going to make sport of it. Tell them, say, yo, the first man who reach down that slope there, you know what I mean? He might go get a room. So, naturally, the first thing I go come to your mind now is, all right, we're going to get a room, right? So, a man might actually take it up on himself and run down the slope. And what would that happen? He would have drowned in the mud lake. You understand? That was the plan, to get them 32 people here drowned in the mud lake. You know what I mean? An act of execution. You understand? I raise my hand and say, don't move. Make we wait until daylight. When daybreak, we realized we were almost at the edge of a mud lake. So lucky thing said this veteran, you know what I mean, raise him hand and say, yo, don't move. Because all of the people them either out of fear, because somebody has said, the first man run, get a room. You don't know what I mean by that. You understand? So being that you get tied up in a truck, you know what I mean, pepper spray, you might just want to run to save your life. And had they had run, then probably would have end up in the bottom of the mud lake. You understand? So out of the quick thinking of this brother, you know what I mean, him save the rest of them life. You understand? But it show you what was the purpose of them dumping them at the mud lake. All right, continue reading. It is still unclear as to whether or not some of the street people heeded Vernon's instruction. As to date, 6 of the 32 street people have never been accounted for. So probably 6 of them actually did run to the mud lake and died. You understand? Which, as I say, there's possible other cases. I think them need to excavate that, you know, mud lake if possible, to see if them find any bone there, because, you know what I mean, this is a gruesome thing. Enough people that want closure. You understand? Enough homeless people, you know what I mean, would have gone missing and nobody would have even realized. You understand? And in fact, they would have probably been dumped into the mud lake. Just because, you know what I mean, our leaders want to, you know what I mean, make way for the tourists that come here to the country. You understand? To make the street clean and proper for the tourists them will come here to vacate. You understand? And this could be even a conspiracy as well. We now rule out the fact that this might be a conspiracy, because many times throughout our history, agents from other countries, you know what I mean, mostly America, you know what I mean, CIA agents come here and they do things like this, you know what I mean, which result in, you know what I mean, the discrediting of a particular party or government, you know what I mean, to get their agenda, you know what I mean, to operate in Jamaica. You understand? So we now rule out that neither. You see me? But this here, you know what I mean, this look like a government attempt to, you know what I mean, to execute people for just being homeless. You understand? And this is wickedness. You understand? Continue reading. In recounting what transpired as the mixture of mentally ill and homeless persons were tied up and placed in a truck with St James Parish Council painting on its body and transported some 45 miles away to the edge of the mud lake and the outskirts of Santa Cruz, instead of hospital as they had been told, Whitley Finletter, another survivor, said he was told to get into the truck as he was being taken to get medication. So obviously this was an elderly man and he needed medication, as many of the homeless people that they rounded up. You understand? So they promised them medication which they needed. You understand? And by promising them, their plan was to throw them up in our truck and carry them somewhere to execute them. You know what I mean? This is how our leaders deal with we here in Jamaica. You understand? Deal with the homeless people here in Jamaica. So when we tell them, say, yo, we don't have no government outside of the ISUPK. You know what I mean? This is a prime example. You know what I mean? And there's many more scenarios where, you know what I mean, our government officials, our leaders have let in agents into the country to undermine the very structure of our you know what I mean, so-called democracy. You know what I mean? So-called. Zin, just to gain power. You know what I mean? So both of the party them guilty with this. You understand? So, all right, I'm not going to read much more of the article, Zin, but to tell you that there was a commission of inquiry, you know what I mean, that led to the arrest of 3 persons, and those 3 persons was just, you know what I mean, just a couple of the men that actually was carrying out the act, and not the people them who gave the order, like the higher up officials, you know what I mean, within the government at the time. You understand? So they still didn't get justice in this scenario. So again, what want to think? I'm leaving a comment in the comment section. You understand? Tell me what you think. Remember to like this video. You understand? Subscribe to this channel. You know what I mean? Because we bring out the true information. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. And remember to go over to ISUPK Jamaica. You understand? I will upload a video on ISUPK Jamaica breaking down this story in its entirety with another article as well, where I read all of this article and part of the next article, along with some scriptures where, you know what I mean, you can tie it into the Bible. You know what I mean? So, again, my name is Officer Kayad, one out of ISUPK Jamaica. You know what I mean? And with that, I say shalom.